pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome, everybody. Back in action once again is the Western States Racing League as they move from the West Coast back to the East Coast, and they head off into New Hampshire. Last week at Auto Club, we were treated to a real duel at the end of the race. James Lehman was able to bring home the victory by less than a tenth of a second over Andrew Schultz. Ryan Steele wound up P3. But that was last week. This week, we are on the flat track of New Hampshire. I'm Mike Damoni up in the booth. Join with me. And coming back to the booth after taking a little bit of a hiatus is Liam. Liam, man, how's it going?
I am doing fantastic. I can't think of a better way to get back into the swing of things here than with the Western States Racing League racing here at the Magic Mile. We've got a stacked field. Some of your big names out here like Justin Wilkinson, Justin Michael. These guys, of course, you talked about James Lehman, who got the job done last week at Auto Club. It's a fantastic field we've got here today, and these guys, as they get ready for qualifying, we're going to see who can run the fastest lap in 1 lap or 2 laps. But we've got a long way to go. See who can finish the race quickest.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to as Heath Smith puts that #1 Oregon Ducks Toyota on the pole with a 30.63, but big names are still yet to come as we're looking right now as Dustin Burns makes his lap. 31.69. He goes a little bit faster this time. Now a little slower there for him. Got Bob Beltrami in the 14 out there rolling around.
Beltrami Salami coming to start his first lap. Finishing up the warm-up lap. Let's see what kind of time he can put down. 15 cars have put down a time so far. Charlie Widener is going to be finishing his lap up here pretty quick. James Campbell as well. Widener's going to jump up to 13.
Look at Beltrami here as he's coming out of turn 4.
Going to cross the line, move up into 5th place for right now with a 30.86. About 2/10 off of the current pole time set down by Heath Smith. He's got a 30.63, which he did on his first lap and promptly parked it.
Yeah, Butch Davis, 31.20 for his first lap. Out on track. Looks like Chad Simpson's got that 42 Dr. Dabber machine coming through. Got a little loose there coming out of 4, so this lap's not going to be very quick. As I say that, he goes up to the 3rd quickest.
Let's see if he can improve on lap number 2. We haven't really seen a lot of improvement on the 2nd lap from a lot of these guys. Actually, I'm going to stand corrected. A lot of these guys have put their fastest lap down on the 2nd one. Holstetter is kind of the outlier there. See what that Dr. Dabber machine can do. Big slide coming up off of turn number 4. That's probably going to hurt his time, but we will see. Just a couple of 100ths off of his first lap time. Keep him sitting in 3rd place for right now.
Matt Sisler coming across the line in that 93 Toyota. His first time is going to be, it's going to be a 30.91. Good enough for 11th quickest.
I tell you what, that Heath Smith, that lap of 30.63, that's going to be real tough to beat. If he can keep those laps going that quick during the race, he's going to be unstoppable. Sisler on his 2nd lap, comes up off of the corner pretty clean. See if he can improve. Looks like he's going to run the exact same lap.
27 Chevy of Ashton Crowder, 30.68 first time by. See what he can do as he's coming through turn 4, headed to that start-finish line for his 2nd lap. .30.65, good enough for P2.
Yeah, only the 3rd driver we've seen get into the 60 range.
Ooh.
Justin Michael with a big slide coming up off of turn number 2 can improve on his time right now, sitting in 21st with a 31.64, almost a second off the pace. You got to wonder if he's doing that on purpose. He doesn't look to have a lot of speed coming up off the corner, but this track does that. These camera angles can kind of make it seem like they're doing less than they are, and he's going to jump up to 3rd place at the 30.66. So despite that slide coming up off of turn number 2, he's going to be able to put down a fast time and get up into the first 2 rows.
That definitely looked like he was sitting on the fastest lap there, but those slides might have hurt him just a little bit. William Fletcher coming through the start-finish line for his first lap.
He's going to put down a 31.15. At 28, Haviland, kind of Davey Allison reminiscent scheme. He's got the, is that the American Nightmare on the back, potentially? Yeah, I think that's Cody Rhodes. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the YouTube chat. At the McConey Setup Shop. Number 33 rocking around, Julian Ritchie. Puts down a 31.61 for his first qualifying time. Just about 2 minutes left in qualifying here. There are 5 drivers who have not yet put down a time, not including Andrew Schulte, who just puts down his first lap. He's going to go up into the top 5 with a 30.72.
Like he got a little loose, so that's probably going to be it for his lap.
Yeah, he's off the pace down the back straightaway. A good lap to put him in the top 5, but it does certainly look, with only 5 drivers left to put down a time, that our pole sitter will be Heath Smith. Todd Miles, Darrell Scott, Keith Kelman, Bentley Glazer have not hit the track yet. Keith Hovda has hit the track, but he is in the pit lane right now. Yet to put down a lap, with just over a minute left in qualifying.
Yeah,
Mike, this kind of gives us a chance to talk about the uniqueness of this racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It is unique.
I mean, you've got a mile-long racetrack. It's got, what, 5 degrees of banking in the corners? And then you've got that yellow line on the bottom, but that's not really where the banking transition is. It's actually one lane up above that throughout the corner where the banking transition is. It goes from about 5 degrees, maybe it might be up to 9. I'm not 100% sure, but it goes down to about 2 degrees once you get down below that bottom seam right before the yellow line. So it's going to be tough to make passes down there. You're going to see guys send it down there and try to slide up the racetrack to get in front of some guys, see the slide job, but it's going to be easily defended on the outside if you can keep your foot in it.
Yeah, just like you were saying. I mean, the banking is basically none. It's one of the flattest tracks you're going to go to, and that's going to allow for not quite so many different lines, because you can defend a lot easier on that flat track. Just slide up just a little bit, get them out of the way, and you just go right on back to your line.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of guys running the middle to outside lane. We're going to see some guys trying to get all the way down on the bottom to make those passes. But that middle lane, I feel, is going to be dominant. The track is officially 1.058 miles, so just a touch over a mile. The banking is 2 degrees below that transition like I was talking about, and 7 degrees in the corners, 1 degree on the straights. These guys are getting up on the racetrack now. I think we got some business to attend to.
Yeah, you got Heath Smith and Ashton Crowder in row 1. Row 2 is going to be Justin Michael and James Lehman. Row 3, Andrew Schulte and Chad Simpson. Lyle Swearingen and Chris Sumard back there in row 4. Row 5 is going to be Butch Davis and Bob Beltrami. Then you got Ryan Steele and Christian Bishop in row number 6.
After that, we've got Wayne Hutchison in the 17, starting in 13th. To his outside, Matt Sisler in that 93 Toyota Tundra. And we've got Brian Barnes in the number 4 Ford F-150, sponsored by the NASCAR Hall of Fame and the Federated Auto Parts Toyota. Number 155, Michael Milfeld Jr. on the outside. Morris Bogan in that Nike car. Number 36 Chevy Silverado on the inside of row number 8, or 9 rather, and Rob Gall to his outside in number 31 Chevy Silverado. Dennis Fuzon also in a Silverado in the 11, and Charlie Widener to his outside in the 20 Toyota Tundra. Back to the inside, we've got William Fletcher in the number 28, 33 of Julian Ritchie to his outside. Wayne Fleet and Dan Bracington make up the next row. 242, that Scott Kukas Kraken machine. The 04 to his outside, Dustin Burns. We've got Barry Phil and Michael Bourne just behind them. James Campbell, Bentley Glazer, Darrell Scott, Keith Hovda, Keith Kelman, and Todd Miles round out the field. 4 Chevys and 1 Ford round out the back 5. Another Ford up in front of them, a Chevy, a Toyota. But it's all back to number 1, Heath Smith. Car number 1 on the door, car number 1 on the racetrack, Mike. truck number 1, I should.
Yeah, truck number 1, the Oregon Ducks. Number 1 has that chromed out.
It's the Oregon truck.
scheme. That is a beautiful truck there. He does have Ashton Crowder to his outside. He has 2 fast drivers back behind him in James Lehman and Justin Michael as they get set to get the race started here. Pace truck is making that left-hand turn down pit lane. Keith Smith, Ashton Crowder, and we are underway here at New Hampshire. Ashton Crowder staying on that high line as he's working by Heath Smith. Heath Smith trying to stay on the bottom. Little bump in there, and that is going to allow Ashton Crowder to get the run coming off of turn number 2.
What a start. What a drive there by the 27 Ashton Crowder. They're side by side going through turns 3 and 4 just behind Heath Smith, trying to prevent himself from losing another spot. A little bit loose there from the 50 of James Lehman on the outside. Here comes Lehman trying to take that spot away.
Yeah, he's been one of the fastest drivers all season, has that 50 machine, and he is trying to go right back to work here, working the outside of Heath Smith. Heath Smith trying to stay right with him. He knows he has to get there. Otherwise, Justin Michael is on his bumper as well.
Well, now you got to find that spot. You're able to slide up. You get in front of Justin Michael. Don't give him the chance to follow that 50 truck through on the outside. Good move there by the 1 to be able to keep that 3rd place, keep Justin Michael behind him. Now Justin's got to set up his own pass as they stay side by side for the 5th position. The 81 Andrew Schulte down to the inside of that Dr. Dabber Toyota Tundra of Chad Simpson. Little bit sideways from a couple of guys there. As the caution has come out here for the first time today. Trying to take a look to see what has happened. There might be something towards the back of the field.
Like Dan, maybe?
He's got some damage to that left front there. Take a look. High and above, you see that 28 is going to come up. No, there was a spin with the 31.
Take a look.
Rob Gall got turned around.
95 got a little bump there on that 31.
Oh, he just gets sideways coming up off of the corner, and the 33, nowhere to go but into the back end. And nowhere to go there for the 29 or the 04. So caution comes out early here. Lap number 3 out of 120 when the caution came out. We're now rocking lap number 5.
Yeah, and that goes back to we are set for 120 laps here. 80% fuel as always in the Western States Racing League, and we have 3 sets of tires sitting in the pits. Tires are probably going to play a little bit more of an important role here at New Hampshire, being how flat that track is. We'll see if anybody elects to come down early here and maybe top off with fuel, get off on a different strategy here.
I don't know. I feel like it's just too early. 3 laps at this stage in the game is going to be tough to try to make sense of using those tires. I mean, you've got 4 sets limit in the race. I believe that means 3 on pit lane and 1 that you start with. So, you know, this is just going to be way too early to try to utilize those tires. I know this race tends to go green in the first half, but I feel like you just got to save them for the end, as we've got 1 lap to green. These guys double up once again.
Yeah, we made it enough laps where we are not going to single file restart, so that is, we thought we saw some action early on that on the initial start of the race. I imagine we're going to see some pretty heavy action here, trying to get some track position after you were already making your way around some drivers, especially back towards the back like Bentley Glazer and Michael Bourne here.
Another interesting thing, Heath Smith once again starting on the inside. We'll see if he can get a better restart than he did on the initial start. Ashton Crowder coming up off of the corner. He's got it made now as he goes. Lets up off of the gas, and he's already got a car length clear of the 50 going into turn number 1. Justin Michael up on the outside, trying to take away that 3rd spot.
Yeah, Heath Smith has got to be like, I don't know, banging his hands on that steering wheel as he was in the spot he wanted to be. He cleared Justin Michael, was set off, everybody was single filed out, and then that caution came out, and now he lost another position. And it looks like he might be getting set to lose another as Andrew Schulte and Chad Simpson are hot on his bumper as well here.
Yeah, Chad Simpson working that outside lane, trying to keep the momentum rolling coming up off of turn number 2. It gets a little tough there because up on the top, it tends to tighten up a little bit, bringing towards the outside wall as we've got some potential for 3-wide action there with the 68 of Swearingen looking like he was going to try to make a move, but just pushed the 81 a little bit further into the corner there, trying to help him out with some draft. Works better in the modifieds here than it does in the trucks, but hey, whatever works here, you use it at your disposal as that 42 is still unable to clear the 81 of Schulte coming up off of turn number 2 this time.
Yeah, Chad Simpson trying to get by, just hasn't been able to. And he's got to be a little irritated with his teammate and Lyle Swearingen back there, the FBR guys.
Oh, problems. Wayne Fleet in the back.
Round he goes. What I was gonna say is with the FBR teammates there trying to stay on that bottom lane, and you're stuck on the high lane with Andrew Schulte there. But we'll see what happened here with Wayne Fleet. Looks like he had a little incident. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, he had a bit of an off, I think, coming up off of the corner, and might have just overcorrected in the grass, which is very easy to do. Come back up the racetrack.
Yep.
Oh no, he smacked the wall. That's what sent him back up the racetrack.
It looked like he just made a a left-hand turn there.
Yeah, that thing just snapped around on him abruptly. It was almost like he was done with the corner, and it just went around. And some guys potentially looking to come in here, top off fuel. No, they're gonna try to play some mind games with their competitors.
Everybody's sitting there looking like they were going to come down pit lane and thought better of it. I think if it was a few more laps in, you would have probably seen more drivers coming down.
Oh, absolutely. The forbidden word. You definitely would have seen more guys coming down that time. You know, maybe 10, 15 more laps into this thing, you would have seen some guys try something for fuel.
Still trying to play the road course. It'll be interesting to see how this sets up here, as Ashton Crowder's probably going to take the bottom again, which is going to leave James Lehman on the high side. And I believe that's also going to put Heath Smith on that high side where he has not wanted to be for, the last couple of restarts, really.
Well, he's been stuck on the inside for the first two, so it'll be interesting to see what that outside lane does for him. But I'm also interested with that 50 truck. He was able to stick with Ashton Crowder. I know that was another short run, but he was able to stick with him for the first couple of laps. So maybe if he can get his nose into some clean air, put the 27 into a compromising position where he can't use up all the racetrack, whether he gets up to his top side or down to the bottom, might have a shot at taking this lead. It's early on. We've got a lot of comers and goers with tire wear to worry about, but a track like this, passing is tough. You want to try to get the clean air early and stick with it.
Yeah, they're going to want to get to that single filed out and just start driving away, log some laps, and get this thing, closer to the finish before they start worrying about anything else. As the pace truck makes that left-hand turn down, and Ashton Crowder plays a little mind games there, waits to the very end of the restart zone before he goes, stacks up the line a little bit, but he is able to get out in front of James Lehman, and that's going to put James Lehman and Justin Michael nearly side by side.
That was all the one of Heath Smith. He tried to anticipate when that start was going to come. He gave the 50 a shot, and if the 50 would have run with it, he would have been penalized for hitting the finish line first. So smart move by the 50 to check up there just a little bit. Yes, it did check up the line. Unfortunate circumstance of what was going on there, but you can't fault Heath Smith at all for trying to get that jump on the restart. I mean, you do everything you can to get that push out front. It's just a little bit too soon for him. 50 had to react. Sideways there from the 42.
I was going to say the 42 got that inside line, and he is making Andrew Schulte have to stay up on that high line. Lyle Swearingen back behind the 42 there as well. You have Butch Davis and Chris Simard. Because they're the pretty much the only ones that are really side by side. There's a little bit of action towards the back of the field here with Julian Ricci and Charlie Widener.
Hutchinson down there on the bottom got a little bit loose. Had to check up just a little bit. More loose coming up off of the corner. That's Matt Sisler in the 93. That 3 birdies Toyota Tundra. Now works down to the inside of Millfelt. Gonna slide up the racetrack. Has to jam on the brakes. Everybody able to get through okay as they're almost 3 wide coming up off of turn number 4 just in front of these guys.
Everybody looking for a spot to go there as the 93 was sliding all over the track there. It also looked like James Campbell had a little bit of incident. He has since got it corrected, but it looked like he was down in the grass that you talked about earlier as well. Lyle Swearingen eating the rear bumper there of the 42 machine, trying to get him by the 81.
Trying to, but this 42 and 81, they've been side by side for the last 2 runs. I mean, last time around, they were opposite sides of the coin, with the 42 up on the outside and the 81 down on the inside. But either way, they're just unable to get away from each other. As now Schulte slides way up the racetrack. Davis tries to get into the middle of that, but a big run for Schulte as he gets loose coming up off of the corner. And to kind of stall out that run is now Chad Simpson down on the bottom. Gonna try to push through. Here comes Davis up on the outside, trying to make it 3 wide.
Yeah, Davis trying to get a little more arc in that corner and have that run coming down the straightaway. Just wasn't able to do it. Chad Simpson still side by side with Andrew Schulte. Andrew Schulte the last couple laps has got a little bit loose, but not enough to allow Chad Simpson to clear, and they are still side by side.
These guys have been neck and neck all race long, as we are 18 laps complete this time around. Now the 42 is able to nose out front just a little bit. Here comes Justin Michael. He was able to get in front of the 50 for 2nd place. Now he's got a bead on Ashton Crowder for the race lead. A 2.5 separating 1st and 2nd. The blanket over 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Go back here to this action as they are stacked up 2 by 2. I was going to say 2 by 2, but it looks like Andrew Schulte got a little loose there, allowed Simpson to get by. Butch Davis is going to follow him in down on the bottom side. Has Chris Simard back behind him, Lyle Swearingen side by side as well.
Excellent turn off for the 43, but that run is going to help out the 81 of Schulte back on the outside. Just a little bit of space, and now here comes Butch Davis trying to shove that 81 up the racetrack, saying, I don't want to be on the flat stuff. I'm going to push you up, stay up on this banking, and now Schulte a little bit sideways once again. Butch Davis going to get in front to take away the 6th position. Here comes Simard with a big send on the bottom. Going to try to establish his position.
I'll say Simard saw Butch Davis do it, and he's like, I'm going to follow that guy. And he is going to get almost side by side, but Schulte was able to get a little bit better drive off the corner that time by.
Now though Swearingen moves to the outside of that 77 of Simard. Schulte trying to defend here. He's lost a couple of positions, and it seems like the rear end of that truck is not happy right now. So he's just got to try to cool it for a little bit, get some temperature back into the rear tires, cool them down just a touch, get back after it. He's falling back to the 8th position.
As that's going on, Barry Phil went around coming off of turn number 2. He's able to get it straight down the backstretch. We stay green.
Trami working to the outside of Michael Milfelt. Complete that pass. That's for 11th. Sisler going to try to follow him through, and it doesn't look like Milfelt's going to have a whole lot. Never mind, he sends it in there kind of deep. Trying to keep that 12 behind him. Ryan Steele up on the outside trying to take advantage.
Yeah, if I'm watching this race and I want to know if anybody's going to try and stretch the fuel or tires, it's Ryan Steele. I've seen him win I don't know how many races by just his ability to have the better tires at the end of the race. And this seems to be one of those races that I'd imagine he's going to be around late.
Well, he does have a tendency to show up late in these things. Right now he's sitting at 13th after starting in 11th. Hasn't really fallen back too much, but definitely not the direction that he wants to go in moving forward in this race. 24 laps complete the next time the leader crosses the finish line. Take a look at Bentley Glazer trying to make it to the inside of that Nike truck. He's going to be able to complete that pass down there on the inside with relative ease, as we've got a dogfight just in front of these guys. 17 of Wayne Hutchinson trying to get to the inside of Julian Ritchie.
Yeah, Julian Ritchie trying to hang on here, as it looks like Bentley Glazer's having a little connection issue there. That 87 truck usually belongs to Justin Michael, but Bentley Glazer said, I'm a past champion here. I'm going to go up early and take it back. And he is trying to work his way through the field, up 12 positions. Biggest mover so far is he's hard off the wall.
87. Bentley Glazer goes around coming up off of turn number 2, gets it down into the grass and doesn't spin all the way, but there's a couple of trucks sideways coming up off of the corner. That could have been huge.
Julian Ricci coming down pit lane. All right, let's see if we can go back and take a look. Ricci.
33 gets sideways.
Ricci gets a little loose. Glazer just tries to hit his brakes. Goes down the track. So not quite as bad as it could have been if he would have been unable to slow down as fast as he was. But as everybody's able to stay going in the correct direction here, Ashton Crowder is driving away from the field. He's got almost a 3-second, well, now he has a 3-second lead over Justin Michael and James Lehman, as those two are going to be battling for second place here.
Yeah, Lehman hasn't really let that 87 get away. If anything, the 87 might have used up all of his stuff trying to get around that 50. He's not able to chase down Ashton Crowder up front, as he's losing about 2 to 3 tenths a second every single time around. That 50 truck, though, hot on his bumper, hot on the rear tires coming up off of turn number 2. Big time slide out of James Lehman. He's going to lose just a couple of car lengths coming up off of the corner, but I'm sure he'll be diving right back in to get him back.
It looks like those rear tires are starting to get cooked for several of the drivers here, as we are 30 laps in. On board here with Lehman. See just how flat this track is. Little hiccup there from Justin Michael, but stay rolling here.
Yeah, now we're starting to get into one of those long green flag runs that New Hampshire is known for. The tires are starting to wear down. These guys are starting to struggle with what they've got. And they're going to be a little bit frustrated with the fact that it doesn't seem like the leader is really struggling with what they are. But I tell you what, Ashton Crowder has had it basically on easy street since he dropped there. Since the drop of the green flag, he took the lead on the outside and has not looked back since.
Now, the only thing that's going to slow down Ashton Crowder here is some lap cars, as he has been dealing with. Looks like he just got by Julian Ricci there.
There's an interesting line.
Yeah, not sure what happens there.
Well, he cuts down on the inside and he gains a lot of time on entry. And it seems like he can just utilize the momentum and turn the car. He cut the grass just a little bit there. He's gaining a lot of time on entry, and it's it's not being negated by what he loses off of the corner. It's a really interesting line there.
Wow.
Now that's going to be a tough thing though, because you've got to remember where that pit lane exit is coming up off of turn number 2 and going into turn 1. Don't want to risk touching that pit lane and getting yourself some sort of unsafe entry.
Yeah, that is a crazy line. It's almost like, you know, at Phoenix when they try and cut that wall.
Yeah, and you can see where that green cone is. It's about 3 feet past the pit wall. There's really not a chance he's going to hit that, so definitely an interesting line. I'm sure some of these guys, if they saw the film, they might want to try it, but Ashton Crowder's got it down pat. Oh, big sideways there from Matt Sisler.
Yeah, that's the benefit of being the leader. You can pretty much run whatever line you want, not have to worry about anything here. Christian Bishop is able to get by Butch Davis and Lyle Swearingen.
That's going to put him up into 8th place. He's up 4 from where he started today. One of our biggest movers of the day. Biggest mover of the day, though, is Todd Miles. He currently sits in 24th. He started 33rd, almost tail end of the field. Gotten around 8 trucks now as he's being passed by the 87 Bentley Glazer, former champion.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer.
Oh, into the wall behind him. That was Daryl Scott.
Getting loose coming off.
Michael Bourne goes down to his inside. He's got some right front damage there. He's gotten into the wall. Gonna try to complete that pass, but not enough momentum on the bottom side. That's gonna give the chance back to Daryl Scott.
Glazer getting by the 97 of Keith Hovde.
Yeah, now all 3 of these drivers, or rather Bentley Glazer and Keith Hovde, both up 7 positions. Todd Miles still up 8. Taking a look at Dan Brazington now, sitting in 22nd. Of course, involved in that first accident. Didn't know where to go but to pile in, and got some left front damage. He's recovering just fine and able to continue on here, although he's only 5 or so seconds in front of your race leader before losing a lap. Still able to, oh, big sideways there for him, but still able to gain a couple of spots based on where he started, even after the contact on lap number 3.
Yeah, he definitely was able to get some momentum back here. Bentley Glazer also, he was our biggest mover. He was up, I want to say 12 or 13 spots before he took his little spin there down the backstretch. He is on his way back up as well, already up 7 position, or still up 7 positions.
Look at this drive by Milfeld. He's sideways on entry, trying to get the slide in there. Talk about a slide job. He didn't get in front of him, but he was sliding when he dove it in there. Not enough to take the position away from Matt Sisler, but Milfeld getting after it here. 38 laps in, 38 laps on these tires. He says, who cares? I got grip. I'm going to use it.
He drove it in and was just hoping it would stick, or he was going to be using that 93 to help him make the corner. But
they say 8 tires turns better than 4, and he's doing it again. He must have a lot of rear brake bias in that truck, trying to use that to help him on entry, get the car or get the truck pointed down towards the apex of the corner. He's really utilizing that. It seems to be working for him on entry, but just can't get the run on Sisler to get the position coming down the straightaway.
Up front here, we do have a little change here for second place. James Lehman is able to get by Justin Michael, but they still are a half second between each other. But they are 8 seconds behind your race leader in Ashton Crowder.
Yeah, Crowder's line is just insane, and it is fast. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's doing everything right now in this type of gap. If we don't see the caution flag come out, this could be everything he needs to go on easy street from here on out. Okay, use up all the racetrack that he wants to coming up off of the corner with the 25 there of Todd Miles. Now he gets all the way back down to the bottom. Where's he going to be relative to this 97, though? Gonna have to get off of the gas there. Can't use up all of the racetrack that he wants to. Can't use all the throttle. Still gonna have the run coming up off of the corner.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem he has with his line is if nobody's around, it's fine. He slides up the track, goes to wherever he wants. Not that big a deal, but you can't use up 3 lanes of track if there's cars up there. So, and everybody else seems to be staying right on the track, so he has got to be careful when making those passes.
Definitely is. Now you see second and third working through some of that same lap traffic. It'll be dicey for him here with the Nesquik truck down on the inside, but these guys are not totally aware of what lane Ashton's running. I feel like if they had somebody in their ear telling them what was going on, they would probably try to mimic that line or see if they can negate some of this gaining that Ashton is doing on him. But this lead is almost 10 seconds at this point. Morris Bogan comes in and crash on the front straightaway. Caution's gonna come out. The 34 is involved. Big damage there for the 62 of Daryl Scott. Looked like there was another one, I believe. It might have been Morris Bogan.
What happened here?
Oh, no, it was the 242 of Scott Kukas that I saw there. He checks up, trying to keep it off the wall.
Michael Bourne bounced off the... Lucas bounced off the wall. And Michael Bourne just attacked him. If we can have a different look here. Well, Michael Bourne looks like he's trying that line that he saw somebody use. Let's go on board here, see what he saw from the driver's seat.
At 242 just gets too high. Looks like he either hit the wall or he tried to check up to keep it off the wall, and 34 just had too much speed and not enough time to check up there.
Yeah.
Everybody's pitting up front though. Ashton Crowder is gonna lead them all down. 44 laps complete when he crosses the line here. A perfect time to take one of your 3 sets of tires in the pits.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted to see, but it is a pretty good time. You're quarter of the way through here, or a third of the way through here. So you got one more pit stop probably happening at some point in time.
Well, I don't think these guys can make it from here on fuel. I think it'll be close. They've got an 80% fuel limit.
Yeah, I wonder how close they were to making green flag pit stops. I saw, Morris Bogan come down on lap 41, but everybody else seemed to be staying out. So we'll see what happens here. I know the drivers that are out right now.
I'd have to guess, with my calculations, this words are hard right now, but this could be right on the edge. I think they can go about 75 laps on 80%. This is 75 laps to go right now. Gonna get a number of guys getting the wave around this time around.
Well, and
Todd Miles, Julian Ritchie, Morris Bogan.
I'm not sure why Todd Miles stayed out,
Get the wave around.
but he hasn't made a pit stop at all.
Gotta hope for a quick caution here so you can. but he needed to get himself back on the lead lap. That was his thought process there. Said if I take tires here, I'm not going to be able to race for the free pass. I'm going to be stuck behind some guys, and there's a chance that I don't get it. So I'm going to make sure I get back on the lead lap and hope something happens. Ashton Crowder going to lead him down. Justin Michael to his outside. Top of the board says number 6, but he's the 87 truck. We've got 50, James Lehman, Andrew Schulte in the 81. 2 Chevys in row 2. Toyotas make up row number 3. Pace truck makes that hard left. Ashton Crowder going to lead him down, and he is on the gas. Green flag is out, and a strong restart out of that 27.
And got the jump he needed, as he has several drivers looking to chase him down. Not showing any secrets at the moment, as James Lehman and Justin Michael side by side there for second. Andrew Schulte back in third. Or in fourth.
I think if Justin Michael can get clear of the 50, is a big send there by the 50 of Lehman. Down to the inside, he's going to get clear. But if these guys can stay close, see what that 27 is doing. Might be able to try it out and stay closer. But I don't know, man. That 27 has been virtually unstoppable all day. Once again, does not show his hand going all the way down to the bottom. He's got that 50 truck just 3 car lengths behind him. Looking back a little bit further as Butch Davis comes up off the corner. Big slide coming up off of the corner. Michael Milfeld Jr. goes around. Gonna stay green for the time being.
I saw that, and I saw James Lehman go sideways as well. Lehman was able to hang on to P2 here.
And I know there's not a lot of banking here, but that transition coming up off of the corner, especially off of turn number 2, seems to really be catching some guys off of guard. And that's really, really making this a challenging race for these truck drivers here today. So the fastest lap of the race was just put down by truck number 50, James Lehman, in second place. Even faster than what Crowder was doing, running his inside line. Comes up off of the corner with a nice run, brings it down to a car length for the race lead, Mike.
Now he is all over the back bumper there. He is not letting the 27 get away this time. He is looking to probably go, pull down to the inside there as he gets a little loose again on that backstretch.
Yeah, he's been susceptible to that transition coming up off of turn number 2. But how aggressive do you get? 27 has been out front for every single lap thus far. It's big sideways. I guess that's the answer to how aggressive you get. So I believe the 50 might have smacked the wall coming up off of turn number 4. Oh, almost a little bit of contact there with Schulte. Sends him up the racetrack. I do believe they hit.
Yeah, it looked like they did touch just a little bit. I was going to say James Lehman doing the right thing after that check up there, getting back in line, but it looked like he tried to get in line a little bit too soon and wound up touching Andrew Schulte there. Chad Simpson is able to get by Heath Smith. And you have Butch Davis, Kristen Mardlisle, Swearingen, all inside the top 10.
Yeah, Heath Smith sitting in 6th place. He's going to want to get back up there, put down the fastest lap in qualifying. Has not seen the front of the field since about a foot or two after the start-finish line when Ashton Crowder took hold of the lead, and simply put, has not yet looked back. He's got 0.4 of a second in front of Justin Michael. Michael's holding it down, though. He's keeping him honest. Last time around, he was about a 10th quicker. This time around, it was a 10th in Crowder's favor. Darrell Scott's had an issue. He's gotten back onto the racetrack, and Dustin Burns has come in for a pit stop here. He's a couple of laps down. Up front for the race lead, it is a chess match between the 87 and 27. Seems to go in the favor of Justin Michael through the middle of the quarter, but coming up off, Ashton Crowder is just so good.
Yeah, Ashton was definitely looking for a little more battling back behind him. That way he could sneak away and start driving the line that he seemed to be most comfortable driving. He has not shown his hand yet. He is still running the traditional line around the track. But he is still holding the lead. About a quarter of a second is all he's got at the moment.
Yeah, Michael's closing in. He's using up a little bit more racetrack, which might be hurting his tires a bit. But it was down to quarter of a second from 0.35, and now a big entry from Justin Michael. He's trying to take all of it on entry. That's really kind of hurting him on exit. He's going up wider next to the wall, and it's allowing Justin Michael to utilize that lower bit of racetrack, get the grip down or get the throttle down just a touch later, use less racetrack, take that shorter distance.
Yeah, we'll see how this pans out if Ashton decides to go back to his other line that he has. As we're kind of looking back through the field, looks like Bob Beltrami and Matt Sisler side by side here. Charlie Widener hanging on as well. Other than that,
Beltrami really sent it in there, trying to slide up. Sisler moves down to the bottom, trying to limit the racetrack that Bob Beltrami can use. Does a good job of it. Beltrami gets loose, and that's going to give Sisler the run coming up off of the corner. Dead even getting into 3, but Beltrami's going to send it once again. Try to slice and dice like it's deli meat. Getting through, going to complete the pass, put Bob Beltrami up into 12.
And Beltrami's able to get that spot and clear just before halfway through the corner, that when that line would change just enough, and he was able to slide up in front of Sisler and make that pass. Who else is on the move back here? Looks like a little battle going on between Rob Dahl and Dennis Fuson. Fuson has the better of it for the moment. Looks like everybody's single filed out, so we're halfway through the race. We're going to go ahead and step aside, go side by side. You won't miss anything. We'll be back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Western States Racing League from New Hampshire. Not a whole lot has changed since we went away, other than the fact that Ashton Crowder has been able to pull away here, and Andrew Schulte was able to get by Justin Michael. Looks like Justin Michael might have had a little bit of a hiccup there.
Yeah, he's starting to slide coming up off of these corners. Schulte, he's putting down relatively even lap times with your race leader. He's 2/100ths off that time. That's pretty minute. But Crowder, he's been phenomenal all day. It's been tough to make him make a mistake, and it's going to be even tougher to do it from 2.5 seconds back.
Crowder's,
last time around, equal laps for your top two.
I say it looks like Crowder's not running the line he was running a little bit earlier.
That might be more of a worn tires type of strategy. You know, once you use up a lot of the back tire, go ahead and dive it in down there. Use up some front tire, let the back tires cool off. Plus the fact that he was touching the grass just a little bit when he was getting down into the corner, especially in turn 3. I'm not sure what iRacing has done about that, but I know it's given advantages in cooling tires in other situations. Could that potentially be, you know, something in the game that it's able to take advantage of? You know, everything about racing is about pushing rules, try to find the gray area, get any little bit of an advantage that you can. They might have fixed that after the Rolex 24 at Daytona debacle last year, but just in case they haven't, be something to look at.
Always push that envelope.
You have to.
If
The
you're not
greats
cheating,
have
you're
done
not
it.
trying, right?
Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson, big example there. Jeff Gordon, Ray Evernham. No, I brought up a couple of Hendrick examples, but Ross Chastain at Martinsville, that was a gray area. Down to the inside here, looking to the inside of Bob Beltrami is Bentley Glazer, who's up 17 spots from where he started. 30th place, 70 laps complete, going to be 71 this time around. 50 laps to go. He has passed more than half of the field.
Bentley Glazer, a name we used to see here all the time. Took a little hiatus, but showed up tonight, so good to see him back on track. Another driver that's good to... Yeah.
Sorry, I had to get selfish for a second. Justin Michael is under fire here, it seems.
James Lehman trying to battle back, get by Justin Michael.
It's going to be for a podium spot. These guys both sitting where they started, hoping to trade it out as Chad Simpson just behind them hopes they get side by side so they can pull him a little bit closer to him. Maybe he can try to take advantage of both, but here comes Lehman looking to the inside. He's about half a lane down below. He's got the run coming up off of the corner, a little bit sideways for Lehman, but he's got the momentum coming down the front straightaway. Trying to take away third place all the way to the bottom, and Justin Michael's not going to fight him too hard.
No, it looks like Justin Michael might be saving some tires here as they are getting a little bit further into this tire run here. As you see Lehman get a little loose on that back end. They also have Scott Kukas, a lap car in front of them, so don't really want to push too hard and wind up in a spot you don't want to be in and lose a lot more time.
Oh, you definitely don't. Looking back through the field, it's like Charlie Widener, Brian Barnes, they're getting down to a dogfight here. Lyle Swearingen up in there as well. Sorry, that was a different angle. We've got a dogfight here for 15th place. Barnes trying to get down to the inside of the 95. The 95 trying to play both offense and defense with Matt Sisler just in front of him for 14th. It's a tough spot to be in. You're playing chess against two opponents right now as that 4 charges up to the outside. Not quite enough to make that pass happen. These three under a blanket, just waiting for one to make a mistake, one to slide in deeper. The 95 goes in really deep, trying to get close to that back bumper of the 93.
As they're battling back here and up front, they are still battling as well. They go by Keith Kellman down on the inside. Lehman Justin Michael, Chad Simpson, all under a blanket there for 3rd through 5th.
Yeah, Simpson able to close in on these two, battling each other. That 50 truck might be holding up the rest of these guys, as now you see Chris Samard in 6th place. He's starting to inch closer and closer. He's within half a straightaway now. He's got a host of trucks behind him, hungry and ready to get some positions here. Talking about Heath Smith and the Oregon Ducks, the Oregon truck there, that Toyota Tundra, coming up off of turn number 4. He started on the pole, has fallen back to 7th. This is the worst he's been all day, but I tell you what, when you start up front and you don't get to stay there, you're going to be a little bit more frustrated than you would with the normal top 10, right, Mike?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you started on the pole, you made a little mistake, and now you can't get back to where you want to be, that is like the worst thing that can happen to you. Sometimes it also causes you to make some mistakes you might not make before. But looking back through the field, I was just doing some checking here. Todd Miles came down pit lane on lap 63 for his first and only pit stop he has made today. So if that's any indication of where we can run as far as laps go, we're going to be looking at probably the drivers coming in within the next 10 laps or so to make sure they have enough fuel and tires to get to the end of this race.
I tell you what, Mike, I think it's going to be close. These guys on fuel. Ashton Crowder right now, he's going all the way back down to his line. Not sure he's saving a lot intentionally, but he is running a shorter line around the racetrack. A little bit of a slide coming up off of the corner there. But he is running a little bit shorter of a lane, so that could help him save fuel in a sense.
Well, the last lap time for Ashton Crowder was 31.86 versus Andrew Schulte's 32.21. So it definitely seems to be a little bit quicker.
It definitely does, and you know, I would be interested to know if there is any correlation between tire temperature and grip and that type of line that he's running. It's blowing my mind, the fact that he's able to continuously run these blazing fast lap times. A 31.71 last time around. He was half a second quicker than Andrew Schulte.
Ooh, almost slides up to Bogan there.
Yeah, Bogan not using up the racetrack that Crowder wanted him to use, but it's kind of the name of the game. That time he doesn't get the grass. Usually you can see a couple of things kind of flicking up a little bit when he touches it.
It's crazy how fast he's been able to run. He's been 0.4 to half a second faster each lap than Andrew Schulte.
Schulte running a more traditional line here just above that transition. You can see him getting a little bit sideways on the transition, carrying it all the way out to the exit of the corner. Really using up those rear tires a lot. Justin Michael, once again, trying to get around James Lehman. He's gonna send it in there. Chad Simpson just behind. He sees this dogfight just in front of him, and Chris Samard is closing in ever so slightly. He's able to pull away just a little bit from Christian Bishop, Butch Davis, and Bentley Glazer, who has worked his way up into the top 10, by the way, up in 9th place. Fantastic drive from Bentley, making a return here as it looks like Scott Kukas got up into the wall just in front of him.
Yeah, he definitely did. Lyle Swearingen making his second pit stop. Oregon Duck and 26 action here. Keith Smith did make his second pit stop on lap 80, so he does have the fresher tires, so he should be able to go around most of the field pretty quickly here as he is on the move once again.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough for him, sitting 19th place. He's one lap down from the race leader. With 35 laps to go, that's going to be a really tall order to try to get back up to the front as Bentley Glazer is coming into the pits now. I tell you what, Mike, I might have been wrong about these guys being able to make it 75 laps.
Yeah, I don't know, but somebody apparently got on Andrew Schultz's radio and said, hey, dude, guess what? The leader's been running the apron the last few laps. You better get down there and start doing it as well.
He's going down there, but he's not doing it the same way.
No.
It's a little bit quicker than he has been, but you can see him sliding a bit, but it does seem like he's finding some of that speed that's down there. It's just a matter of using it the same way that Crowder has. But with Crowder having a 10-second lead over Schulte, gonna be tough for him to be able to figure out what exactly that 27 is doing.
We can see when he enters the apron there and when he exits it. Versus, we'll jump over here to Andrew Schulte and watch how late Andrew Schulte gets there. And
Yeah, Schulte's slowing down a lot more to try to hit the apron. Whereas you can see that 27, he's just kind of cruising in there. He's gliding in there. I'm sure he's using some brake for sure, but a lot of it is just letting the car roll through, catch a spot in the middle of the corner, and get that normal exit like he's used to. So he slides up the racetrack. I'm sure he's just letting it roll there. Once he gets back up out of that transition, you can see the backfire outside of the right of the, just in front of the right rear wheel.
And one thing he's going to have to be careful of, though, is now that green flag pit stops have started, he's got to be careful when he goes down, especially on that pit exit.
Oh, that is something I have not considered at all. You do not want to go down there and mix yourself up with somebody who's coming up off of the pits. You could risk contact down there, getting caught below them. Could really ruin your line there as that 27, once again, super strong through the corner. He's still 0.3 a lap quicker than second place.
Fastest man on the track, though, is going to go to that 87 of Bentley Glazer, a 30.83 that time by.
Another question is, do these guys who make the pit stop early, do they gain enough time on your race leader having these fresher tires to be able to gap him when he makes his pit stop, if he makes his pit stop? I'm sure it's coming, but that 75 number sticks in my head for a reason. You might see some guys try to stretch it.
Phil Jr. trying to get by Sisler.
Crowder into the pits. Race leader Ashton Crowder comes into the pits. Andrew Schulte, we'll see what he does. Does he respond with a pit stop? He does not. He stays out on the racetrack. Ashton Crowder comes in with almost an 11-second lead over Schulte. Now he's got to just do everything right. Take it a little bit slower. Don't get yourself a penalty coming up off of the pits here, because the last thing you need is to kill your race through a self-inflicted mistake. By the way, these are the first laps of the race that have not been led by number 27, Ashton Crowder, as here comes Schulte into the pits.
Nope.
No, he was just running that low line. Crowder already out of the pits. Looks like he took 4 tires with a 14.6 second pit stop. Not bad work by the 27 crew.
Yeah, Paul, definitely. He is alive. Haven't seen him in forever, but yes, Bentley Glazer is doing Bentley Glazer things here as he is started at the back of the field and already halfway through it.
And not to mention all the drivers in front of him who haven't pitted since lap 44. He's got a chance to make up some real positions on these guys and show I can come back here and still perform. I don't have to show up all the time, but the rust is not there.
Andrew Schulte still rolling out here. Last pit on lap 44, like you said. If he's going to come to pit lane or if he's going to stay out, he stays out. Still running that low line. Whew. Julian Ricci about blew up Andrew Schulte's race.
Hard into the wall with Julian Ricci. He's got a messed up left front there. You can see it shaking big time. No caution at the moment with 27 laps to go. Going to be 26 when Schulte comes across the start-finish line. I tell you what, his lead over Ashton Crowder right now is 18 seconds. Crowder put down a 30.77, the fastest lap of the race. Julian Ritchie has crashed and the caution comes out. This could change everything.
That is very, very unfortunate, I'll say.
11 trucks on the lead lap. Ashton Crowder got his way up to 5th, but a lot of these big names are caught one lap down. Justin Michael, Bob Beltrami, Bentley Glazer. Gonna have to take the wave around here if they can. I would imagine everybody in front of Ashton Crowder is gonna make a pit stop, along with everybody behind him. Oh no.
Let's, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but.
Well, you can see when we were looking at the 33, that left front is shaking vigorously. That's a violent shake to it. But yeah, Mike, since we're already doing it, let's maybe back up to see where he got up into the wall while we were looking at him.
It might as well.
Oh yeah, with Schulte there.
Yeah, Schulte down on the inside, gets a little bump from Lehman. Oh, he did. Schulte did get a little bit of damage there. But Ricci keeps going.
Can't turn. Glazer almost gets into the back end. But at that point, the damage is already done to the left front there of the 33. We can see it shaking violently. Gonna try to get some speed here going into the next corner. Probably is unaware of the damage. Maybe not. He's checking up real early, but there's just no turn. And
yeah, he can't turn. Goes right up
Butch Davis.
Butch Davis, yeah. Well, that's gonna shake up the race here.
Yeah, there's gonna be 6 lap fresher tires. Schulte, Simpson, Widener, Steele, Milfeld, Ashton Crowder. He's going to have a little bit of work on his hands. I don't think it's going to be too crazy. He was already starting to fall off a couple of tenths. Let's see what these fresh tires do just behind him. So Mike, I gotta wonder, when you get into a situation like this, I've been in a few similar ones in official races, but when you get into a situation like this, a late race caution, you know everybody else is on a different strategy than you. What can you do to kind of, calm yourself, get yourself ready for this restart, get yourself ready for this challenge coming up?
The only thing you can do is, well, if you're Ashton Crowder, you just have to keep doing what you were doing. I mean, you obviously found something here that was working. But you also have to realize that everybody else just got fresh tires. So they're going to be trying to make moves, especially this late in the race. So anticipate more cautions. But maybe not overdrive yourself quite so much and try and just hang around and get everything evened out before that caution comes out.
If it does, I mean, we've got 23 laps to go, and Mike, we've watched enough New Hampshire races to know that things get a little crazy at the end of these things. It's a tough track to pass at, and you've got to restart. Not a lot of laps to go. You start to get a little bit more desperate. You start to make some moves that you might not have made before. So we get the 1 to green here, and a host of lapped cars, I believe 9 of them, are going to come around, take their lead lap spot back.
Looks like, if I'm reading this correctly, I think Justin Michael's going to wind up trapped a lap down. Yeah, Justin Michael's trapped a lap down. Pace truck is in. Ashton Crowder with the button. He is down and away, has to get out in front of the 81, and he will do just that. See if Andrew Schultz is going to be able to test him here as Chad Simpson, the Dr. Dabber machine, goes down to the inside, trying to hang on for second, but will not do it. Fades back to third. Ryan Steele just to his outside now.
Great restart for Crowder, but a good turns 1 and 2 for Andrew Schulte. Staying within a couple of truck lengths here, coming up off of the corner into turns 3 and 4. Up against the wall is Matt Sisler going through turns 3 and 4, and he's going to get back down, but lose a ton of spots there coming up off of the corner.
Matt Sisler lost a ton. Heath Smith trying to get a couple spots back here down on the low side. Trying to look to the inside of Michael Melfeld Jr. is just to the inside of Butch Davis. Gets a little loose there. Also has the 50 machine of James Lehman trying to push on by as Lehman's been up front most of the race.
Yeah, sitting just inside the top 10. And another situation of, yeah, a top 10 is good, but based on where I've been running, not good enough. He's going to try to get himself back up into the top 5. Meanwhile, Ashton Crowder and Andrew Schulte running up front. The fastest lap of the race just put down by the 81. Andrew Schulte, 30.69. 30.75 out of Ashton Crowder, as a couple of them might have scraped the wall coming up off of turn number 2, allowing these top 2 to get further and further away. Schulte closing in on the back bumper, trying to utilize the inside lane coming up off of the corner. You saw what Crowder was doing, using less tire before. Racing with Justin Michael, and now he's trying to do the same as Ryan Steele moves down to the inside, trying to take away third. Mike, you talked about Ryan Steele always showing up at the end of these things, and here he is racing for a podium position.
Yeah, Ryan Steele trying to get back up to the podium. Chad Simpson battling back, trying to hold on. Charlie Widener, I haven't heard him up front for quite a while. Up 15 spots, not the biggest mover of the race, though. That belongs to still Bentley Glazer, up 18 spots, running P12 as they are working their way through lap 104 now.
Getting closer and closer to the end. A slide up from Ryan Steele in front of Chad Simpson. Going to slow the 42 down enough for the 95 to get down to the inside. And now we'll see if Charlie Widener can get down. No, Chad Simpson dives it in deep. A lot of brake bias in there. He's going to slide on corner entry.
And Widener trying to get back down to the inside. Not enough room down there. It looks like Butch Davis. And Butch Davis pulls out side by side with James Lehman, trying to get a spot back.
These guys running side by side coming up off of the corner. Butch Davis gets a little bit loose, and he's going to have to try to fall back in line to prevent Matt Sisler from getting up top side. Back up front, Ashton Crowder and Andrew Schulte are getting after it. To the back bumper is the 81, trying to make a pass for the race lead with 15 laps to go. How aggressive do you get? Do you use the bumper? We've seen it used here before. And if you're Ryan Steele, how aggressive do you get, hoping these guys get to racing in front of you?
Well, Ryan Steele has a gap now after he was able to slow down Chad Simpson and put him side by side with Charlie Widener for a little bit. So he has a little bit of room here to decide what he wants to do. He's got to try and hang on at least a half second or thereabouts, and he is already losing that. Because if Ashton Crowder or Andrew Schulte or both of them decide that they just want to run away with it for these last few laps and settle it amongst themselves, there's going to be nothing Ryan Steele can do about it.
And how soon do you use your special line, your secret line? Maybe not so secret, but it's a big time slide there out of the race leader, Ashton Crowder. How soon do you start jumping down and showing your hand? Nobody else has been able to run that same line as you all day. How soon do you show them what you've been doing, and how much time do you give them to try to figure it out?
I don't know. I think you're probably right in what you said, that it usually helps when you get more of that tire wear. So I'm assuming that Ashton's going to sit here, run the regular line, probably, I'm going to say, for the next 4 or 5 laps. And then then he's going to try and push it and maybe see if he can go down a little bit lower, because his line is faster than the line that Andrew Schulte was running.
Schulte starting to slide off the back bumper. The 27 a little bit more. It's 0.4 of a second here with 12 laps to go. Ryan Steele just about 2 seconds back of the race leader. Battle here for 18th position. Dennis Fusat's going to take it away from Wayne Hutchison.
Everybody else is pretty much single filed out. You have James Lehman, Heath Smith battling a little bit. Heath Smith has the run off the corner, and that's for P6 right now.
Yeah, Smith, you know he wants to get up into that top 5. This race has not gone the way that he wanted it to after starting on the pole. He's going to be aggressive trying to get around this 95. Look at him getting right up to the rear bumper in the middle of the corner. He allows that 95 to get to the gas a little bit sooner. He's saying, hey, I'm here. Trying to get this position away from you. He's going to keep attacking as now he looks down to the bottom side. He's going to slide up just a bit in front of Lehman. Lehman tried to get his nose up there, but just not quite enough. A little bit of smoke coming up off of turn number 2, but everything is A-okay. As the gap up in front, up to 2 seconds, and I think Crowder has jumped down and said, all right, I know what's fast. I'm getting away from these boys.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that. I saw a little blip there saying that he entered pit lane last time, so that was a little telltale sign that he was cutting that corner. But he didn't really do it that time, so maybe it was a little mistake there, but he still has a 2-second lead.
Well, he was definitely able to gap these guys by a tremendous amount. Andrew Schulte might have had himself a bit of a problem running a 32.81 that time around. 1.5 seconds discrepancy between the laps with 8 laps to go. Now 2.5 seconds of a lead, and I don't think Schulte has to show his hand anymore. Or rather Crowder. I don't think Crowder has to show his hand anymore. Schulte, he's worrying about Ryan Steele at this point.
Yeah, Ryan Steele's closing in. He's got that gap down to within a half a second. He's closing in. He's rolling the corners really well. He always seems to be the guy that can, figure out how to make the tires work a little bit later in the runs. Chad Simpson trying to hold on here for P4. Charlie Widener up 15 spots trying to hold on to P5. Bentley Glazer still the biggest mover of the race on his welcome back tour, up 17 spots right now. But all of the drivers behind Ashton Crowder are trying to figure out what he is doing as he is just driving away here.
Yeah, he's running that line again down to the inside. Getting a nice run coming up off of the corner here. And I tell you what, man, that guy he is doing something special here in New Hampshire today. Didn't quite lead every lap, didn't get to pull the Jeff Burton, but he has put on a dominating performance. And 6 laps to go here, continuing to gap the cars behind. It's almost 2 3/4 seconds now. He gets down to the inside, right up next to that grass. That line is doing something special. Grass or not, that is an incredible line he's running, and it is working in his favor like crazy.
You got to be wondering if you're some of these other drivers, running the regular line out there, and you see this car all of a sudden just turn way left and just like blow by you, almost like you're standing still. Keith Kellman down there on the bottom line. Looks like he was trying to stay out of the way, but he doesn't realize that Crowder is on the bottom and wants the bottom.
4 laps to go this time around, and all the way down to the bottom once again for Crowder. He's going to try to clear that 25. Not quite enough speed coming up off of the corner. Almost a little bit of contact. Crowder giving plenty of room to the lapped car. Heath Smith finally got around Charlie Widener for 5th place. How long does it last? Widener on the outside. These guys running hard into turn 3. Neither one of them wanted to give. Smith staying strong on the bottom side, giving plenty of space to that outside truck, but Widener touches the wall just a little bit coming up off of the corner. 3 laps to go. These guys racing for a top 5. Plenty of time behind the race leader, who has a 3.5 second lead over Schulte.
Charlie Widener gets a P position back there as he is off the wall and driving hard.
Here comes Lehman down to the inside. Big send.
Lehman just sent it
Caution.
in and said,
No,
yes,
wait,
I
no,
want it.
sorry, wrong call. That was I heard a radio call. It was not the call. My bad. Did not. We got 2 laps to go. Ryan Steele trying to close in, but not going to be enough time. Lehman down to the inside of Heath Smith. Sends it again, big time, and Smith does the same thing up on the top. Does he get up into those marbles, though? Still side by side, but there is 1 lap to go, less than 1 to go for your race leader, Ashton Crowder.
Heath Smith trying to battle back to stay inside that top 5, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it as we go back up front. And Ashton Crowder has just shown up to the Western States Racing League and put on a clinic, winning the race by almost 5 seconds here and leading all but probably 10 or 15 laps when he made that green flag pit stop.
A fantastic showing out of Ashton Crowder here. He had this field on lock. He knew how to run this racetrack, and he knew how to keep these guys behind him. And he ran an excellent race here and definitely deserves this win. Yeah, Mike, I didn't keep count, but I'm sure he led well over 100 laps.
Yeah, like I was saying, I think it's only maybe 10 laps that he didn't lead, and that line was just outstanding.
Andrew Schulte in second place and Ryan Steele to round out the podium. Everybody's going to bring it in. Everybody but Ashton Crowder and the 34 as well. He's going to stay out on track. We're going to go ahead and watch Ashton burn it down. Or he's going to decide not to. There he goes. Burn it down, buddy. Congratulations. 120 plus miles, Western States Racing League, and Ashton Crowder winds up on top. He's going to give the fans a big smoke show on the front.
Definitely will do that.
Oh, and he's going to get slammed by Bob Beltrami.
Bob Beltrami said, first time here, that's enough of that.
He said, all right, here's your salami. I think that 27, he's trying to find victory lane as fast as he possibly can. Or he's just playing around, getting some air. What better way to celebrate a win?
There you go. All right, let's see if we can get third place up here in the booth. Hey, Ryan, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Pretty good, thank you.
Well, that was a heck of a run. You kind of found yourself in the right place at the right time when that caution came out. Kind of walk me through kind of the last little bit here as you were trying to get inside that top 5.
Yeah, I just don't think I had the raw pace today, or at least I honestly never tried to go very fast because of how the setup would try to kill you, especially off of turn 2. So I was just constantly always in be conservative, don't crash the car, save the tires as much as possible. And I was kind of buried in the field, and I never really felt like I could actually get around people. So that last long green flag run, I was trying to save enough fuel to finish the race, and I think I was 2 laps short when the caution came out, and I probably would have made it because the amount I needed to save kept on going down as the lap time slowed down. That wouldn't have gotten me the win, obviously, but it gave me the option so that I could stay out as long as possible, and if a caution did come out, I would not be trapped a lap down, and it worked out exactly as I expected.
Yeah, it definitely did. I kind of knew that this race usually winds up being, either tires or fuel, and you always seem to show up at the end of these types of races, so congrats on your P3 finish. Anything you want to say before we get you out of here tonight?
Well, I've always got to thank my dog bear team for helping prepare. It was especially useful today because I got into the server pretty late and I didn't get to practice all the different things I would have liked to. So getting the extra information from my teammates definitely helped out today. And I got to thank you guys for covering the series.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your third place finish, and maybe we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. To second place.
Yeah, all right. I'll take second place over here with Andrew Schulte. Andrew, you finished second here. Do you think there was anything more you could have done on that late race restart to close in on Crowder and take the win?
Aside from being a peak anti-freeze driver, probably not. Nope, not with his experience.
Well, I mean, you definitely had a good race here, and it, didn't come without its drama here. We saw you sliding around a little bit, making a little bit of contact here, and you started fifth, worked your way up to second. Walk us through your race, and when that green flag pit stop came, you tended to run long there. What was your strategy with that?
Strategy was just hoping exactly what happened. Caution come out with Ashton being on older tires. When he joined the room, I knew that there was going to be no chance that anyone else was going to win unless a bad luck happened to him. So he ran a clean race and stayed out of trouble. So congrats to him.
Well, I mean, let's talk about your day. I mean, he ran a great race for sure, but so did you. I mean, you made a lot of good passes. You were racing side by side with Chad Simpson for a good portion of the first half of this race. Talk with us about that battle with Chad and what's it take to make a pass here at New Hampshire?
Yeah, beginning of the race, we were just minding our tires, keeping the truck under us. We knew it was going to be loose and all over the track, so just trying not to make any early mistakes to take us out of contention for having a finish there. And making a good pass. Turns out there's a hell of a lot of grip on the apron. That doesn't make any sense, so that's the place to run when you're on old tires and find some speed there, because the regular grooves that you would typically run in it's like a dirt track. They're just slicked over, but you can make up 3/10 by staying on a no banked apron. If any viewers are out there watching and want some tips on New Hampshire, go to the apron. That doesn't make any sense, but those are tips from a professional driver.
Well, we saw you make that move late to the apron, and we saw it working for you. And well, I mean, it does seem like you had a really good day. Who do you want to thank for such a strong run here today?
Thanks to Scott Patton for patented paints for the paint job. Bob for always giving us a fun place to race on Tuesdays and Fridays. The Peak Anti-Freeze series for giving us Ashton Crowder. You guys will be interviewing him a lot this season if he hangs out. My Bandit Motorsports teammates and my wife and kids as always.
Awesome stuff, Andrew. We appreciate you joining us. Congratulations on second place, and hopefully be talking to you again next week.
Appreciate it.
That's going to bring us to none other than our race winner, Ashton Crowder. Mike, I believe you've got him.
Hey, Ashton, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Not too bad. So, heard from the other two drivers here. When or how did you find out that New Hampshire has a ton of grip on the apron?
Well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. If you really dive into it deep, they run that line kind of what I was doing in real life. But a lot of guys, like, they're not diving it in there because it's just, I mean, it's dangerous, plain and simple. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to actually try that. But if you think about it, oh my gosh, sorry. I want to give some context real quick if I don't sound the smartest. Had a day full of classes, tried out for a club basketball team. That was 2 hours of like running on a slick court, and then this. So I'm dead. But so with that being said, like the upper grooves and everything. I mean, they get like well, the track temp, what it was shown for me was like I think 112,
Yeah, pretty
but
warm.
yeah, I mean warm on its own, but that's just like an average taken from the whole track. But if you think about it like line to line, like that second to third groove may have been like 100 and we'll just say 160, 70 degrees with how many trucks we had tonight. I mean, it was a huge field. So that's just a lot of
Working
it.
with that dynamic racetrack, go down to the
Hmm.
cooler spots. So the rubber
Exactly.
spots that are hot, you're not
Yeah.
dealing with that slick stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, you can think of it like a dirt track. It's just the hotter grooves and the more rubbered up grooves are just not as good on the long run. You can't really get the traction down with how like the Goodyear tires work. It's not good in rubber a lot of the time. So yeah, I mean that was my thought process and watching a lot of film with like the history that I have with like real life driver coaching and all that stuff. Just watch a lot of film on it and used it in a maximum velocity race with Andrew and them like a year ago. I also did it in a B Open. I was running the fixed setup actually, and I won the race by like 3 seconds just running that line because nobody else wanted to do it. And there you go. I look like a genius, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's yeah. I'm not that smart.
You showed up. You put on a dominating performance tonight. Uh, question we have is, are you going to stick around for the rest of the season here, or is this a go up when you can type of deal?
Definitely show up when you can. I mean, I kid you not. I got home from the like basketball tryout thing that I was doing. Um, I got on my computer. I had a like, I mean, it's not that much, but I had like a 500 word like little bibliography thing that I had to do for this philosophy class that I'm in. And I got in here with like, I don't know, like 6 minutes left in qualifying, and that was my first laps. And I also have I have a personal finance class on Wednesday at 9 in the morning, which really isn't that early, but I still have to be up, sadly. Or well, thankfully, it's a privilege, but it's a good problem to have. But yeah, so definitely when I can. I used to, like I was mentioning before, I used to run the maximum velocity stuff, but they pretty much they kicked me out because I was winning all the races. I had like 10 wins in a season, and they didn't like that at all. So they like kicked me out because people were complaining, and now they're winning everything. So, little ego flex. I had to come in here and show them how it's done. See what they've been missing.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is making a horrible face right now. She's like, "Don't say that." I'm joking, but yeah, no. I've been wanting to race against them for like ever, because they're really fun to race against. So yeah, I'm really happy I got to. That's the
Definitely.
real Ashton coming out, not a joke.
Definitely looks like you guys are going to put on a show here. But congrats on your win. Anybody want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
Yeah, you guys for putting on the broadcast and dealing with me, giving long-winded answers. That's what I'm famous for. Not really famous at all, but that's what I'm known for. The whole league. I mean, I think I applied for the league last night, and saw that I was accepted today. So that was like an insane response time. So, yeah, that's really cool. Really glad that was able to happen. Everybody at Crowder Giannetti Racing with BC Lunar Tech, the biggest lunar power company in the world, we got on board, and they do everything for us. It's a rival broadcast company though. Turn 200. My boy Tommy, or boys Tommy and Matt, they're incredible to me. They're so nice. Let me put my ongoing sports media and analytics degree to good use, and yeah, my girlfriend for letting me do this instead of watching the show.
Well, we are not haters of competition, and definitely big shout out to them. And if you ever want to help us out and give us some words too, won't say no to that. But
Hey, I do it for free too, man. I sit there for 2 hours and just yap, so I got you.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on the win, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you on track again.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Well, Mike, that was a phenomenal race here at New Hampshire. Everybody kind of seemed disappointed that Ashton Crowder showed up, but I tell you what, I was not. I learned so much from watching him run here. And like he was talking about in his interview, working with this dynamic track, when you get to where all the rubber's being laid, where all the trucks are running, it's hot, the rubber gets greasy, the tires get greasy, it's maybe not going to grip as much. So that does make sense with where the grip seemed to fall really on the apron towards the end of the race. Phenomenal stuff here. The Western States Racing League always puts on a good show, but we've got some more business to attend to with our finishing order.
Yeah, Ashton Crowder, Andrew Schulte, Ryan Steele, the top 3. Chad Simpson and Charlie Widener round out that top 5. James Lima was trying everything he could to get in that top 5. Winds up just short P6. Michael Melfelt Jr., Heath Smith, Butch Davis, and Matt Sisler are the top 10. Rolling on back to P11 is Lyle Swearingen with Bentley Glazer, the biggest mover of the race. Christian Bishop, Chris Sumard, and William Fletcher round out that top 15.
And then we've got Bob Beltrami, the Beltrami Salami Toyota Tundra. Ryan Barnes in the F-150. Dennis Fuson driving a Chevy. Wayne Hutchinson in the Toyota, and Rob Gall's Chevy round out the top 20. Then Justin Michaels Toyota. Morris Bogan in the Chevy, Dan Brazington in the Silverado as well. Todd Miles, Keith Hovda, James Campbell going Ford, Chevy, Ford. And then it's a bunch of Chevys here with Keith Kelvin, Michael Bourne, Scott Kukas, Dustin Burns rounding out your top 30. We've got Julian Ritchie, Daryl Scott, Barry Phil's Tundra, and Wayne Fleet in the F-150 round out the field here today in a phenomenal race at New Hampshire International Speedway. Motor Speedway?
Motor Speedway. Well,
Motor Speedway.
after tonight, next week, we head up to Watkins Glen, do a little road course racing. So that is going to be on tap for next week. Liam, glad to have you back in the booth. Anything you want to say before we wrap up the show and get out of here tonight?
No, I mean, it's good to be back, and nowhere better to be than the Western States Racing League. These guys have some of the best truck drivers on the service, and, well, we saw some of the best at work here tonight. What a phenomenal show we got to watch.
Definitely did. Look forward to working with you again next week and in the future as well. Don't forget, we have tons of action going on. We have the season finale of the Racers Elite Xfinity Series tomorrow, as well as we are getting a little dirty as the Roughneck Dirt Series is going to kick off tomorrow night as well. Then the season finale of Racers Elite Next Gen is also on Thursday. And then we have Super Speedway on Saturday before coming back to Sunday Night NASCAR. But from all of us here at the Western States Racing League and all of us from Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you guys a good night. We'll see you next time.